Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're really excited to talk with another one of our Hall Star actors today. We're talking with Ser'Darius Blain. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I like the name, Hallmarkies. That's cool.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun covering Hallmark movies. We've been doing it now. This is our 5th year, which is crazy. Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, what we like to do when we first have an actor on the podcast is ask you, how did you get started acting? What inspired you to get into the field?
Well, as a kid, I was always a huge movie buff, and I didn't realize how much it meant to me, probably until I was like 12 years old. But when I was 5 years old, I saw Hook for the first time with Robin Williams. And I memorized the entire movie, like top to bottom. I used to watch the movie almost every day. That and Ninja Turtles, and then What's Eating Gilbert Grape. All these kind of iconic movies that I had memorized from like beginning to end. And that's kind of when my fandom started. And then I started watching, TV shows like All of That and Gully Gully Island and stuff like that. And I started thinking, I was like, man, I wish I could do that, But I was such a shy kid. It didn't seem like a feasible dream. So I just kind of kept it suppressed inside of me until I was about 12 years old. And I was reciting all of the lines from a play that my mother and I had written together. I was always into writing. My mom was an English teacher. And she was like, did you memorize all of the words to this play? And I was like, yeah. It wasn't a big deal to me because I'd been doing it secretly for years. And she was like, that's kind of remarkable. You should audition for my play. And anyway, long story short, I got cast in the play as an understudy. Never thought I would see the light of day to actually perform it. And after the first performance, the lead actor went out sick and my number was called up. And as soon as I stepped on that stage, it was like the greatest euphoric rush that I'd ever experienced in my life. My heart was pounding, my knees were shaking, and the curtains opened, and I felt alive. And so I started kind of doing community theater for years, at that point, but I was still playing basketball and, I was first chair in band and kind of, stayed very active. And then I got a real opportunity to actually like do this for a living via a talent competition at Disney in Orlando through a company called AMTC at the time. And I won pretty much every category I was in, and I got an opportunity to go to the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. So I dropped out of, regular university and moved up to New York to go to the conservatory and did summer classes at NYU. And, kind of the rest is history. It was the greatest decision I had ever made. Though it was a scary one, I would make the same one 100 times out of 100.
So this is when you were 12, when you were in the play, your mom's play?
Yep, I was 12. I was 12 years old.
Was it a teenager part that so you were able to understudy for it?
We made a kind of modern version of Cinderella. It was Cinderfella, actually. And I played the wicked stepbrother. And I still remember some of the lines of that play. Actually, I think I have it on VHS somewhere.
No way.
Yeah. It was great.
So was she a writer or is this just kind of one thing that she did?
My mom's an English teacher, actually, but she was also the drama teacher for the school.
Okay.
So, they had a special program for drama. And so she taught both full time. And I want everybody to know my mom did not cast me in the play. She actually had a panel of judges that were like all the teachers at the school, 5 different teachers, so that she could kind of keep her hands off of it. And they cast me as the understudy. I was just so shy. I was kind of quiet in the audition, but they're like, yeah, it's good. He's just quiet. Yeah. And then I ended up winning like best actor and all this stuff, at the end of it. So it was
it's funny because a lot of the actors that I interview, I would describe as being kind of shy, which you wouldn't expect for being such an extroverted career, but I've seen that quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I think probably the majority of actors I know are pretty introverted. I am myself too. I kind of try to learn how to attack social situations, so then it becomes my turf, so to speak. So I'm the guy. I would walk into a room with 3 people in it, and I'd be so nervous, to talk to anybody. But now I'm just like, I go in there, hey, I'm Ser'Darius, where you from? Try to find some commonality. But red carpets, like armpits itching and sweating, and the whole 9. But
yeah. So were you ever going to do like Broadway or that kind of thing? Do you sing? Do you dance? Do you those sort of things?
I do sing. Broadway is definitely something that I want to tackle at some point
That'd
in
be
my
so
career. I
cool.
started out actually doing theater, as I said, so
Mhm.
plays are always very close to my heart. But yeah, at some point, I'm gonna build the courage back up to get out there on the stage. They're not usually too kind to film and TV actors. The critics aren't, so I want to make sure that I'm completely on point and I'm ready to go. But
Yeah,
yeah, singing, I write music as well,
great.
so that's very close to my heart. And my mom was a recording artist back in the '80s as well, so it kind of runs in the bloodline.
Wow, your mom sounds amazing.
She is. She's a
Yeah.
remarkable woman. She's jack of all trades as well. So
Yeah.
I've got an opportunity to kind of soak that in from her.
Yeah, she must be pretty stoked at your career and seeing it take off.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She's in job right now.
Do you
Drag,
remember the first role that you got on film?
of course. Who would ever forget the first one?
Yeah.
It was Footloose back in 2010.
Okay, the remake.
The remake of Footloose with
Yeah.
Paramount Pictures. Yeah, it was actually my first film audition. Went through a 6 audition process for it, and booked it on the 6th one 2 months later, and the rest was kind of history. I was working 2 restaurant jobs at the time, and I got the call on my way to my second job, and I was exhausted. And when they told me I booked it, I got lightheaded and had to pull the car over because I couldn't believe what was happening. It was
Oh my
cross-eyed
gosh.
and straight, and it's the first time I think I ever cried tears of joy.
You're just freaking
Yeah,
out.
I'll never forget that. It was one of the best experiences of my life.
Oh, that's great. That's really good.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode, it's Baker Publishing Group. If you're looking for your next summer read, check out Where the Road Bends from author Rachel Fordham. In a desperate bid to save her family's land, Norah King agrees to marry a man she barely knows. But just days before the wedding, she comes across a badly injured stranger who upends all her plans and steals her heart along the way. For more information on Rachel and her books, go to www.rachelfordham.com. That's www.rachelfordham.com.
I like being on a big blockbuster film like the Jumanji movies.
Surreal,
Yeah.
and sort of really grounded at the same time. You're both like your feet can't touch the ground at the same time. You're also really like um, you feel really secure at the same time, because everyone on those types of projects, they are the best of the absolute best because of how much money is at play.
Yeah.
They get the best people in every department, and so you have this sort of sureness that you know this is going to work, but at the same time your head is kind of in the clouds because you're like, I'm shooting Jumanji right now. It's like, it's really, really nuts. But also probably the best filming experience in my career, because the caliber of people that are in this are just so incredibly talented and so warm, and they created such a family atmosphere. And I can't wait to shoot another one.
Now, I'm trying to remember, but in that movie, when you're working with visual effects, like when you are all about to go into the Jumanji world, how is that hard working with visual effects? Because obviously they're not there, you can't see them, so you have to kind of imagine what they would look like.
Yeah, that's such a great question. So piggybacking now off of your last question, I knew that I was shooting Jumanji, but it kind of never really registered, because you're in it. Sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees because you're in it. But on the last day of filming is actually when we shot that scene where we all get sucked into the video game, right? And I was standing there and I was like, how do I act this? How does one actively get sucked into a video game? What would that look like? This is not something we do on a daily basis. And so as I'm sitting there trying to work this out, I was like, oh my God, I'm about to be sucked into Jumanji. And I was like, oh my God, I'm shooting Jumanji. And it kind of like really dawned on me in that moment.
Yeah.
And I screamed out, I was like, I love my job. And there's like 100 people like milling about, like, putting stuff in place and lights and stuff. And they all just kind of stopped and looked at me and were like, yeah, we do. And they got back to work and I was like, holy crap.
They're like, way to go.
So, like, it is pretty hard trying to figure out how to get sucked into a video game working with visual effects sometimes, because the thing that you're trying to do is not physically present. But yeah, you figure it out, And it's a lot of trial and error, and kind of everybody making themselves look dumb here and there, and until you find that one. All it takes is one or two good takes, and they're able to really make it come to life.
And I guess you just trust your director that he
That's
knows what's going on.
Yep, Jake Kasdan, amazing guy.
So you had a run on the Charmed reboot, and what was that like to be a part of?
Charmed, was an interesting experience. I got an opportunity to book my first big series reg. I was the first person cast on the show. It was cool getting to play around in the supernatural world. I had worked with Jessica O'Toole and Amy Rarden in the past on a show called Jane by Design that I was on ABC Family before it became Freeform about 11 years ago. So it was good to reunite with them. But that show had a time and place, and at a point it was kind of time for me to move on and try to tackle some bigger goals in my career as well. And so grateful for the CW for giving me that opportunity, and they let me go out as a hero. So I'm good with that.
Well, you were on another show called The Big Leap, which our co-host Anne is a big fan of, and she wanted me to ask you. She says, tell Ser'Darius, I love The Big Leap, and I want to know what is it like portraying a famous football player going on a dance competition?
Well, first of all, Amy, I appreciate the support. I'll tell her that. That show has such a special place in my heart, very much like Jumanji. It had the same kind of feel to it where everyone involved kind of became family, and it was so warm and wonderful being on that set. I've played a football player or two before, but this one, he was a little bit more wild and kind of fun and gregarious and outgoing and wild. And so it was a lot of fun getting to be like kind of a millionaire playboy who's, figuring out life and finally comes full circle and becomes a real human at the end of it. And so, my co-star, Simone Ricasner, she's incredible. And I thought that the storyline was so great, so hurt to see that show go. I actually shed a tear on that one. I don't think I've ever done that before in any job. And I shed a tear because of the human beings that it impacted me so much, and knowing that there would never be a time where we would all be together in the same place at the same time again. So that was a really tough one. Sometimes I think I'm dreaming, that it didn't come back. But this is the game. It's a numbers game, and if you're not hitting the numbers, the network sees as necessary, then that's what happens. But I hope that I get to work with Fox and Disney again. And I hope I get to work with all those people at some point in my career again as well. But Reggie Sadler lives on in my heart every day.
Yeah, you have gotten to play a lot of football players.
Yeah. 6'5", 250.
Yeah, you a football fan?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love football. I'm a big football fan.
Because you were an American underdog too.
The Rams, exactly. I was, yeah. I've played a lot of football players, but only two of my roles have actually had anything to do with football. That's When the Game Stands Tall, and then most recently American Underdog, as you just said. Where I got to play opposite Zach Levi and a Paquin, and really bring Kurt Warner's story to life.
I liked that movie. I thought it was good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. So we have the new Hallmark movie coming out, Caribbean Summer. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Caribbean Summer. Such an honor getting to work with Heather Hemmings and meeting her. She's just a light. But yeah, I'd never worked with Hallmark before. My friends and family really, really loved the network. I've always been a fan of their movies and stuff as well. So it was a cool opportunity to get to, go somewhere like Belize and shoot an incredible movie like that. I think this movie stands out because it has so much heart. It's so grounded, and I don't think it's your typical, rom-com, so to speak. I don't want to give away too much of the storyline, but it really has a heart, and things aren't always what they seem. The character played by Heather, her name is Jade, and I played Ford. And Jade mysteriously ends up in my house after getting scammed by a fake vacation rental company. And I feel bad that she's got nowhere to go, so I let her stay at my house. And all types of wackiness and seriousness unfolds as well. And we sort of help each other get back to ourselves, I'll say, and the implication is that, there's definitely, romance in the air, but it's a lot more than that. It's about human beings kind of remembering to slow down and, remember the important pieces of life as well. And so we help each other find that. And I'm really grateful for it.
Oh, that sounds good. So did you audition for the role, or did they come to you, or how did that work?
They offered me the role, which was extremely humbling. I didn't know they had any idea who I was. I'm not I'm not super famous or anything like that. But the head of casting over there, put in a request and asked my team if I would be willing to do it. And I read the script, really, really liked it a lot. And I said yes. And we jumped on a plane and went and shot a movie in Belize.
Did they do any kind of chemistry? Did they do any kind of chemistry read or anything like that?
No.
With you and Heather?
Heather and I met the night before we started shooting. I FaceTimed her a couple of times and sent her some goofy, video messages and such. When you got somebody that's a pro like Heather, I don't know that chem reads are necessary as much. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time as well. And so you find commonality between each other. And that's where, chemistry is bred. She's a person that really loves to kind of play with scenes and find what's going to be the best, the funniest, the most heartfelt in scene. And so we were able to kind of, work back and forth, throw ideas back and forth at each other and figure out how to make a movie that I hope everyone will really love. I've gotten to see pieces of it and I'm very pleased. And I'm kind of a stickler, so that's kind of saying a lot,
Yeah. You had Stephen Monroe directing. He's done tons of these. He's a pro, so that must have been great.
It's been one of my favorite working relationships. Stephen really kind of once he trusts you and he knows you know what you're doing, he lets you kind of make the project your own as well. And so it was really, really cool getting to collaborate with him every day. He's efficient. He knows exactly what he wants. He moves quickly. He doesn't mince words or waste time. And he's a funny dude as well. So I had to crack a lot of jokes. Me and him, we just kind of riff off of each other. So I'm looking forward to working with him again on other projects.
So you said that it was filmed in Belize. Were you able to see any of the sites at all, or was it pretty jam-packed?
Oh, both. Yes. Yes and yes. It was jam-packed, but in our off time, we got to go visit some private islands. And I had my personal trainer out there with me, who also happens to be one of my really good friends. And so, we were doing 12 and 20-mile bike rides and stuff sometimes as part of our workouts. We got an opportunity to really explore the island and fall in love with the locals there and, some of the local cuisine and everything like that. And I hope to be back in Belize, at some point.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love the ocean so much.
I was like, are we making a movie or what? It was a bit of both. And so, that was a very lucky thing to have that as a backdrop.
That's great. Yeah. Is your mom and friends having like a watch party or anything like that?
I don't know. They've been talking about it. There's a chance that I'll be in Dallas this weekend for one of my childhood best friend's birthday. I'm not sure. He just sprung that on me a couple of days ago. But if not, I'll have some people over and we'll make some Caribbean themed cocktails and snacks. And we'll turn the volume up way too loud and try to enjoy it.
Well, congratulations. We're excited to see it. It sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we love Heather. She's great. So
she's the best. I just put her in my back pocket and take her everywhere with me. She's the best. She's really.
We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Right. Well, we'd like to end with some fun, silly questions. So here we go. What is the best ice cream flavor?
Pralines and cream, hands down.
There we go. Okay, good. All right. What's your favorite color?
Royal blue.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
What music are you into right now?
Right now, I like a lot of like kind of alternative neo soul R&B kind of stuff. But it's my writing music as well. I write a lot, and so I like stuff that's like really calming because I have a hectic, frenetic life.
Cool. Good. All right. What is your go-to date night food?
Go-to date night food. I make this really good like champagne buttered salmon with shallots and garlic and onion and cherry tomatoes. It's really, really good. I'm a chef on the side as well.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. What is your go-to date night activity if you're going out and doing something?
I'm adventurous and spontaneous, so I'm the kind of person that'll call you up and be like, "Hey, get ready in an hour. I'm coming to pick you up, and we'll go somewhere random." I like water, so I like to be anywhere that's really kind of beachy. So if I'm home and it's local, like we're going to Malibu, we go hang at Nobu and have some cocktails and stuff. Or if it's someone that I've been dating for a while, I'll be like, "Hey, I just booked us plane tickets. We're gonna jump on a plane somewhere and go for the weekend." And
Oh man, that sounds great. All right. Which do you like better, dogs or cats?
dogs, hands down.
Beaches or mountains?
Beaches. Although I find a lot of solace in mountains and I feel like I really connect with God, but beaches, I'm a Pisces, need water.
Yeah. Would you rather suit and tie or sweats?
Ooh, I'm sweats every day, all day.
Okay, good. All right. What's your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Favorite holiday to celebrate. I'm classic. I'm a Christmas guy. I love that whole holiday season.
Yeah, we got to get you in a Hallmark Christmas movie one of these
Tell them,
days.
send it up the chain. I want to do that. I talked about that today. I would love to.
That would be fun. All right, last question. What is your favorite Hallmark or romantic movie?
Oh man, Caribbean Summer.
Yeah.
Saturday, June 11th, 8/7 Central.
Very good.
My favorite one.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
This was a lot of fun.
Me. We got to do this again.
Yes, we definitely will. And are you on social media or anything like that?
I am. You can follow me on Instagram at Ser'Darius Blain, SERDARIUS BLAIN. Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. I'm not cool enough for TikTok.
Okay.
I'll jump on there too.
Great. We'll have all that in the description. People can follow you. And thanks again. We really appreciate you coming on and talk with us.
Thanks so much.
Great to meet you.
Have a great day. Good meeting you.
Bye. We'd like to thank Ser'Darius for coming on the podcast. This was a really great time talking with him. Please let us know any of your thoughts on any of the things we talked about. We'd love to know in the comment section or on Twitter. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews 5 stars. We appreciate it so much. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our patron group, and we have an awesome patron event this month with writer Tracy Andreen coming on, and we're really looking forward to that. And so don't miss out. You'll love the patron group. It's really fun. And we also have the merch store, so check that out as well. And thanks so much again to Ser'Darius, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everyone.